I got a full bottle of Xanax and I was like, if I still feel this way in the morning, then I'll do it. I was waking up to a fight and I just was like, wow, this is my sign. I somehow like call my mom. She's like, just heard me say like, I love you, Mom. I'm so sorry. I love you. You know, like you tried the best you could. Like, I love you so much. And then she just said, she started screaming. It was like, call 911, call 911.
Welcome into the podcast, another episode of Livin Large. Today's episode is with a close friend of mine. It's going to be an emotional episode. We're going to talk mental health and all the things. Welcome to the show, Jay Rich.
Hi.
Jordan
Thanks for
Rich.
having me.
Thanks for coming on. So we were at a house party on Saturday and we ran into each other. And you said some very nice things about my podcast.
Yeah,
we talked about it and you said you wanted to share your story.
Yeah.
So let's get going with it.
Okay.
I want to start with your early life. Okay. You were born and raised in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, so I was born in North Carolina.
Okay.
But I'm an Army brat.
What's that mean?
It means like, or you could say military, but my mom was in the Air Force and my
mom
stepdad.
Was? Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
And my stepdad was in the Army.
Okay.
And so we had to move a lot. Yeah. So I moved to Savannah in 6th grade.
Okay.
And, you know, grew up there basically. So I claim Savannah.
You claim Savannah?
Yeah.
Here, just throw the mic in front of you just a little bit if you go like that, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you said stepdad. So your real dad and mom, when did they get separated?
They divorced when I was 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not a healthy relationship at all.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was abusive. My mom also had some of her own stuff. She's bipolar.
Okay.
So it was a very toxic environment. And my mom and I went to live on base when I was 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of started the whole trauma train right there. My mom was working 2 jobs to support us, and I just had to be at a babysitter's house a lot for her second job. And my babysitter's oldest son started abusing me. Okay. And that went on from age 3 to 5.
At 3 years old?
Yeah.
Because I had someone on the podcast and he was sexually abused as a kid. And he talked about his father and family not believing him. Did you have an experience like that? Or how did you bring this to the...
So I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't until I was 15 years old.
Okay.
It was, let me figure out how to explain this. Like, it wasn't something scary the way it was brought to me. Like, he made it seem like it was, oh, this is love. This is how you're supposed to be. So I just thought, and he was like, but you can't tell anyone because we'll get in trouble. So I looked at it as like, oh, like how, like this is love. I mean, can you imagine being 3 years old and thinking that?
I'm trying to, because you don't know any better because you're just a kid.
Yeah. And he was in middle school.
Okay. So
he was young too, you know. I mean, yes and no.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that started, and what's crazy is I remember on my 5th birthday, they had hosted my birthday at their house, and one of his friends was there. And I remember this like older kid trying to like pick me up.
His
like,
friend?
Yeah, like you would like at a bar with a female. I will always sit with me. And I'm like, that is so weird. Mm-hmm. I was a 5-year-old little girl. And so I was like very over sexualized as a child. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember being in kindergarten and like during my nap time, like kissing the girls.
Really?
During nap time. Yeah, because that's how I thought it was normal. Mm-hmm. But I never said anything. And then I remember I was probably 6 or 7, and my mom asked me, she said, has such and such ever touched you? And I was like, no. And she was like, okay, I just want to make sure, like, you can always come to me. And I still never said anything. Well, then whenever I was 15, I tried to take my life, and I tried to hang myself on like the back of my door, and I like was literally like I was choking, and then and it was like on an iron hanger thing, and it dropped, and I had like written notes and everything, and I like barricaded my door, so like my notes were like at the front door, so like my mom would know to call 911 and not find me, and it broke, and that was when I just laid on the floor, and I was like gasping for air, and I called my mom, and I was like, I need to go to the hospital, and she was like, what? And I was like, no, I need to like go somewhere for a while, and I told her what happened, and whenever they did like your family counseling visits, I told my mom, I said, do you remember when I was 6 or 7 asking me if, this person ever touched me? And she said, how do you remember that? I said, because he did from age 3 to 5. And she was like, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. I said, why did you ask me that? How did you know to ask me that? And she said that my old babysitter called her and said, I need to ask you if you can ask Jordan if my son has touched her, because my niece has now come forward and said that he was abusing her. And then it came out that his father was abusing him. And that was how he learned that he was to still love. So that helped me be able to forgive, because I was like filled with so much anger as I got older, realizing like, whoa, that wasn't normal. Like I couldn't, this is like really graphic, but like I couldn't look at Vaseline because that was what was like used. I couldn't look at that until I was 23 or 24. If someone pulled it out like a little lip thing or something, I would start to like freeze up and get like almost like flustered and angry inside, and I would start to shut down, and we were like, what's going on? I'm like, nothing, but I didn't want to tell them. But so that really helped me to be able to forgive as well, realizing like, here's this little boy too, that's how he was taught to love. Like, can you imagine your father doing that to you? So yeah, that was like the start of all my trauma.
Did he end up getting arrested or anything like that?
No, I mean, he was a kid, so what they did is they moved him. They moved all the way to Alaska.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they just moved. And I remember his mom, like for like my birthday, like my 13th birthday or something, sent me like sunflowers, and those used to be my favorite flower. And then for years I couldn't even see them. Like I hate sunflowers now. So
you have some triggers for as a kid.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty rough few years for you. Your parents get divorced and you're 3, and then your mom's working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
You're getting sexually abused by a boy. When you got to 15, what made you come forward to your mom? And what led up to that attempt?
I was raped at a party.
Okay.
At a friend's house. It's crazy actually, because did you know it's like 1 in 3 girls are raped
in their lifetime?
Yeah, like just in general. Okay. So like typically if I'm in a room with a bunch of girls, like the majority of the girls I know have all had something happen to them, whether it was in their childhood or high school or college. And I had like pushed that incident down for so long. And then whenever that happened, everything started to like come back up into my life. And yeah, I just spiraled. I started doing drugs.
At 15?
Yeah, at 15.
Like weed or?
I was smoking weed, but that's not. And then I started to dabble in like Xanax.
How could you get that at such a young age?
Kids just get it. Like I just remember we would like think it was fun. Someone would be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get a bar. Do you want to?" Like, yeah, I want a bar. And we would drink like our Malibu rum drinks and have a Xanax bar.
Which you're not supposed to mix the two, right?
No. And what you do instead of like just relaxing, you know, going to bed or something, you stay up and you get like super fucked up. And like the night jumps away from you. Like it was like I all of a sudden was teleporting somewhere else. And then I'd be like, whoa, how did we get here? And then like in the middle of a conversation, someone's like, what? And I'm like, but we were just at home. And then like the next one, all of a sudden I'm like getting in bed. I'm like, what? So I started to not care about anything. And I was just partying. Didn't care about school anymore.
Had your mom remarried at this point?
Yeah. So my mom's been married 3 times. My first stepdad was really abusive. Him and my mom got in an argument before and he kicked us out on the side of the road. And this is before cell phones. I mean, they had like the car phones, but you know, like I didn't come from money. So we did not have a car phone.
Right.
So my mom and I just had to like walk to like find a way home, which is so crazy. And then my mom met my stepdad and they were married for a long time. He actually got diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer 2 years ago, or well, 3 actually, and he died 2 years ago.
How did that make you feel?
It was interesting because my mom, I have a crazy life, but my mom is bipolar. And she also struggles with, I don't know how to, I guess like in a way schizophrenic.
Okay.
And she started to think he was cheating on her, and I don't know if he was, but she had like this whole elaborate story. And so I was crushed. I was so hurt because I was like, wow, here you were like this great person in my life. But you did this to my mom.
Is this a different person? Because you said he was abusive.
This is my third stepdad.
Oh, he just passed away 2 years ago.
Yeah, he just passed away. Yeah, so my first stepdad, they were together for only a year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very quick. And my stepdad, my last stepdad, who basically raised me. I was really angry, and so I didn't go to his funeral.
Why?
Because I thought, oh wow, this whole life has been a lie.
Based on what your mom was saying?
Yeah.
Was it the truth?
I don't know now.
Okay.
Yeah. And I actually talked about it with my therapist the other day. I was like, I feel like I regret it because here, like, you know, we all have our choices and we make mistakes and this and that. But I was like, wow, like I missed his funeral. Like I didn't go and tell him goodbye. But I was so angry, and I was so angry because at that time I wasn't talking to my dad either. And so I think took out all my anger on him, and not like in a way of like bashing him. I just was like done. I just cut him out like he had never been in my life before. Looking back after all the therapy I've done in the past year, I would have gone.
Yeah.
Especially I can't imagine like being on your deathbed and your daughter basically not coming, telling you goodbye.
Were your parents still together till the day he died? Or your stepdad and mom? Or did they divorce?
Yes and no. They were getting a divorce, and when they were in the middle of getting their divorce, he had a seizure at work, and then that's when they found the tumor. And so my mom moved back in and helped take care of him. And then he moved to his parents in Illinois to die there, basically. They were like, we want our son to be home and have like his last moments with him. So, yeah.
So after your attempt, how did your mom deal with it? Did you go to therapy? Were you on suicide watch?
So I went and I stayed in a place for 2 weeks, and it was awful. It was so awful. And so I got out of there, but my doctor, so when you're in there, they link you with a psychiatrist who can prescribe you stuff. And he would prescribe me anything I wanted. And that's how I would get Xanax sometimes, or I would do Ambien.
At 15 years old.
Yeah, I would be like, oh, I can't sleep. And people would tell me, they'd be like, go say this so then you can get this. So we can get fucked up this weekend. I was like, okay, cool. So I'd be like, hey, I really can't sleep good. Like, do you think I can get some Ambien? He's like, sure. And here I am like taking Ambien. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It's really scary. So once I started to realize like, okay, I'm taking a turn for the worse. I don't trust any type of therapy anymore. Like, this is crazy. They just want to push pills down her throat. So it really pushed me away from that. I dated guys and that were not always the best. And I just I was, instead of like doing drugs now, I would like fill my time with guys. And not in the way of like that. Like, I always had a boyfriend. It wasn't like tons of
you
guys
were like
out
promiscuous
here.
or anything?
Yeah. I was just like always had a boyfriend. So like if I broke up with someone, then like I was like gonna find a new boyfriend soon. And then I had a new boyfriend. Because I just was avoiding what was inside. Which is so unhealthy. So unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't teach me to love myself.
Right.
Instead, I'm like just putting all my focus on other people.
And this is also from an early age? You were like relationship hopping?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I dated like the same guy in high school. He's probably going to watch this. And he was the worst boyfriend ever.
To this day?
I mean, yeah, he cheated on me all the time.
Okay.
And yeah, he was crazy. He was so crazy. But we would break up and then, you know, he would come back.
Do you think that just because based on how you were raised and the models of your life, like your mom constantly, you know, divorcing, what led to you being attracted to toxicity?
Yeah, for sure. I was raised on it. Like, I've found comfort in it. When I was little and I would like hear like my parents fighting or like things starting to get ugly, I would take my pillows and a blanket and I would go sleep in the bathtub.
Wow.
I don't know, there was like comfort in that. So sometimes when like my recent ex and I would get into like a fight or something, in my closet was like, you know, a pretty large like room. I would go and I would sleep in there and he'd be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you not going to sleep in bed? And I was like, I just find comfort in here. Like, it just was like a little like safe space for me. And not that I wasn't safe, because I was very safe there, but it was just that I like retracted back to something like that in my childhood.
That's actually the second time. So I had a trip with someone like we went on a trip with a group of us and she was raped as well. And in the morning, I went to knock on her door to like, hey, like, you guys want to go get breakfast with us? And she wasn't in bed. And I was like, yo, have any of you guys seen where this girl is? And they're like, no. I was like, did she leave? I texted her, didn't answer. And I went back up and like, I opened up the closet and she was sleeping in the closet because she was with like a group of guys that she didn't know.
Yeah.
And and then she opened up about that and was like, that's why she slept in the closet, because one night when she was... Come in. Oh, is it? Someone just came to the door. Delivery. Hold on.
We ordered Air One.
Where was I? Freaking UPS just interrupted us.
Closet.
Getting back to that. What did you, when you wrote that note at 15, do you remember what you said?
No, actually I don't. I just remember something along the lines of, and I wrote several. I wrote one for my mom. I wrote one for my sister, my older sister. And then I wrote one to like, for my mom to give my best friends, like a group note. And something along the lines of like, I'm sorry. I couldn't do this anymore. I don't want to be a burden. Like, it's just too dark in my head. Like, I know that this is going to be hard, but like it will be for the better. And like, you'll forget about me eventually. Like, the pain will will eventually go away, you know? So I was like, just be strong and I love you, and know like this was because I love you so much.
Did people in your school find out about it?
Some of my friends did. Yeah.
How did they take it?
They were really upset.
Mm-hmm.
Some were really confused. No one like judged me, but they were, yeah, I think they were just confused, like why I hadn't told them and why I didn't come to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to a hospital for a 2-week stay 2 more times after that. When I would feel like I was going to like maybe do something again, I was just like, hey, I need to go back in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was aware at least, but it wasn't until last year that like it really came back.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I had been in a very unhealthy relationship, and I've been dealing with a lot of miscarriages, and I'm a single mom, as you know. Mm-hmm. I was not a single mom at the time, but I did have my daughter that I had with a friend. So, and he's not in her life, but my ex took on like being the father for her. And so, you know, that was great and all, but then he has children as well. Mm-hmm. And their mother passed away at in the middle of like the first year of us dating. And so that was very traumatic for their family. So everything kind of started to spiral with us as well. And it was just a lot going on. I mean, I think that it was really heavy in our home. And I got crazy. Whatever. You know, we all have our own roles and everything that happens in our life. But then one of our friends took his life, and we were, you know, sitting there talking about it, and we started getting in this fight, and I just felt so low, and I was like, wow, look, like he's not having to deal with anything anymore. Like it's that easy. And when you start to hear such negative things about yourself, you start to believe them.
From your partner, you're saying, or in your own head?
Yeah, your partner, or, you know, in your own head. And I was just like, wow, maybe I am the problem. Maybe it's always been me. And I was like, I don't want to do like, did my mom create this in me? And I'm going to create this in my daughter? And so I was like, no, if I go now, she'll have this like memory, and she probably would forget me, you know, well, not forget me, but like she probably wouldn't remember our memories. You know what I mean? And so I was like, people can just say I was an awesome mom, this and that, and she'll get through it. Like he'll take care of her. She'll be fine. Like people will love her. She's very easy to love. And so he went to bed, and I started drinking wine, and I started writing a note, and basically just saying like, I didn't realize that like I am the problem. And I'm so sorry for any pain I've caused anyone with, you know, my unresolved trauma that I've gone through in my life, or, you know, the chaos that I grew up in that I thought was normal. Anything that I've brought here, like, I'm sorry. And just like, please don't ever, you know, let her forget me. And like, I love her so much. And like, I did this for her. It's better now that I do this instead of waiting, you know, into what if I decide I want to do this when she's 15, like it'll be so much worse. And I was like, this is just never going to go away. Like you know, like I told you, I think, I don't know if I've already said it on here, or I've told you earlier that, you know, I remember being 7 years old and wanting to die.
Mm.
And like, that's so young. And so I was just like, wow, like it really is me. And I started to like keep feeding it. Like I was just like, the negativity in my head was like, yes, like we're hungry for more. Like keep it coming, keep it coming. Like you are the worst person ever.
What are you saying in your head that's making you think that?
Yeah, because it's not like a voice. It's just your thoughts, but it's your own thoughts that you fed some, and then they like overpower any happy thoughts that you have. I mean, just that, like, wow, like here I'm a product of my environment, and maybe I really can't change. Like maybe, like I want to fight because that's what I was raised on. Because, you know, then like in a toxic relationship, I have. Not that I like enjoyed fighting, but I also was like, oh, like after a fight comes love. Like then they'll like hold me and we'll like, and so it was like that high.
Would you intentionally start a fight to like have that like passionate connection afterwards?
No, I wouldn't. But I mean, maybe he would say I would. I don't know. But no, I don't think so. But sometimes I can't hold my tongue. Like I'll, like something will pop up, you know, or like a girl will call and, you know, he wouldn't answer, but I'd be like, oh, why is she calling? And he's like, oh, here we go. And he's like, I don't know why and you know, stuff like, so, but no, I mean, I did like, I love after, like, I'm very much like, it's like, okay. Like, you know, so.
I mean, we've all, been there obviously, but it's obviously not healthy.
No, not healthy at all. Which I'm very, very aware of. So yeah, I wrote this note and I then was like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to do this. Because then that's like the part of you that's like fighting for your life. Because it really since I was a child, I've been in fight or flight mode in my head. And so I called some friends. No one answered. And then finally one of my friends did. And he wasn't like really telling me what I wanted to hear. He was more like, don't you dare do that, you know, instead I was like, okay, maybe I know. So his girlfriend got on the phone and then she was like, hey, let me talk to you about this. And I mean, they were trying to be very supportive. It was just like, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll just sleep on it.
What kind of answers were you looking for from them when you did reach out for help?
I don't know. Because they both were like, we love you. You're an incredible mom. Like this, like is not the way. And so, I mean, I do think like it calmed me down enough to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to think on it. So I left my note, in the living room, on the table, and I got a full bottle of Xanax and I put it next to the bed. And I was like, okay, if I wake up in the morning and I feel like this is still what I want to do, if like, you know, maybe I just need some rest. Maybe I need to stop drinking. And I was like, if I still feel this way in the morning, then I'll do it. So I put him next to the bed. I was woken up to a fight. Because we'd gotten into a fight previously the night before. So now it was my fault that he didn't get any rest. And I just was like, wow, this is my sign. Because he had never woken me up for a fight before. You know what I mean? And so that's when I was like, wow, okay, this really is the sign. And so I grabbed the bottle of Xanax and I took the whole thing. I just immediately took the whole thing. And he's still fighting with me. And
you took it right in front of him?
Yeah. And I somehow like call my mom, and I didn't remember I called my mom. And she said that like she could just hear us arguing, and she was like, what's going on? And I again have no memory of this, but she's like just heard me say like, I love you, Mom. I'm so sorry. I love you. I took some pills, but like it's gonna be better now. And like I just want you to know, like, you know, like you tried the best you could. Like I love you so much. And then she said she started screaming. It was like, call 911, call 911. So he called 911, And when he called 911, he like went out, and I just remember being like, okay, I only have like a short window. And so I went out back, and it was in October in the mountains, and so it was freezing. And I went into this pond. It's like 13 feet deep, and it's just this tiny little water hole. And I like went into it, and it was freezing cold. Like everything was like frosted over, and I just remember like I was like, okay, all this Xanax will kick in any second, and I won't be able to hold myself up, and I'll drown. And I remember seeing like all of these people come from each side of the house, and it was, you know, ambulance, paramedics, same thing, fire department and cops, I think. And they were like, ma'am, like, we're going to come out of the water. Like, we're going to have to come in there and get you. And I was just like, that's when my body was like shutting down. And I was like, no, it's okay. Just like, it's fine. Just go. I'm like, it'll be okay. And they're like, you have to get out of the water, ma'am. And there was like this one woman who was like coming behind me, and she was like, we're going to get you out. Like, just don't panic. Like, we're going to get you out. And they brought like a stretcher, and they pulled me out, and they took me, and I woke up like full. They didn't pump my stomach. Now apparently it's like they think it could do more harm to pump your stomach. So they just let you, you know. And so I was taken to the emergency room, and I woke up in like a panic, freaking out. And I like called my ex or something. And I don't remember any of this. It's just what my mom and them said. And I started like panicking about my daughter and everything. And so they had to sedate me. And so then I woke up, I think finally like 3 days, 2 or 3. I was there for 3. So I woke up on like almost the end of the second day. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what happened? And they were like, you try to take your life. You're under 72-hour hold. We're going to decide what happens to you next. They did not come check on me at all. Like, didn't come check the hospital.
Okay.
Didn't check my vitals. Wouldn't even like say, hey, how are you doing? Do you need anything? Would just like crack the door open and drop me some food like 3 times a day. And I was like, wow. Had I not been in a situation like this before, I would want to leave immediately to go kill myself. You know what I mean? So like think about how other people have never been in that situation and they're treated that way. So that's why I'm very open about my story now, because I don't want people to have the same experience and be so fortunate to wake up from trying to do that and they get put in something like that. And they're like, whoa, people really don't care. You know, does that make sense?
Were people visiting you? Did your mom come out?
My mom came and saw me. My boyfriend did not. They would not let him. They told him he was not allowed because of how upset I got on the phone, that they were like, it's clearly like something is triggering for her. So they said, you know, I wasn't allowed to see him. So my mom came and she brought my daughter to come see me, and we just told her that I was sick. Mm-hmm. You know, she'd been to a hospital before, so we were just like, oh, I'm just sick. I'll be home soon. And I just asked for a pencil and a paper, and I started to like figure out, like I wrote like the pros and cons of my life and like how did I get where I am right now. And I started to write all of this out and, you know, take a lot of accountability. And I was like, something's got to change. Like not something I've got to change. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the lady came in at the 3-day mark, at the end of the 3 days. So it was the 4th day actually. And she was about to send me somewhere for 2 weeks. And I just said, listen, I'm going to let you know I've been somewhere 3 times before. It's not going to help me. I'm not going to get on an antidepressant right now that you're not even going to be able to observe if it affects me or not anyways. It's not so crazy. You go to these places and they dose you with all these antidepressants and they have no idea if it's going to work for you, and then they send you on your way. Mm-hmm. And so I just said, it's not going to help. I've already started like doing pros and cons in my life. Like I'm really going to start to like change and like work towards it. And the woman was like, I really actually believe you. She was like, we don't typically send someone home from this. And she was like, but I'm going to send you home. And so I went home and I started ketamine therapy. And actually, I did ayahuasca before I tried to take my life.
What was that experience like?
That was magical. I went and did ayahuasca, like searching for, a way to change or like my purpose or whatever it was. And it was just so peaceful. It started out with a funeral for myself. Yeah, it was really, really heavy. And went through, she had, and I say she is in like Aya is what they call her. They call her the grandma.
Oh, okay.
And she guides you through this whole thing in your head.
The shaman or?
No, okay. Like the actual, like the medicine.
Okay.
And she had like a funeral for my grandmother who was diagnosed with cancer and who was going to pass soon. And then had a funeral for one of my miscarriages that I had that was like further along. So it was really beautiful. And then it just like went through my whole childhood and everything. And I, like some people have like crazy experiences where they're like purging this and that. And mine was so silent. I just laid there so peacefully and I would shed like one. That's the alarm to pick my kid up from school. But, okay. But she's not at school right now. Okay. It's summer. Sorry. But anywho, I would just have one single tear drop down my face, and my shaman would get up to come check on me, and he said that I would be like, she's good. Don't worry about her. She's fine. Just chill. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, I was actually able to get through a lot of stuff I needed to work on from how I was like, he was like, I was feeding off of your energy. Mm-hmm. And so it was really peaceful. I loved it. I did it for 2 days. In Topanga, actually. I didn't go to Costa Rica or wherever people, or Peru or, but I did ayahuasca, and then I think it was 2 weeks later that I took my life. And and the reason I say this, because I don't think that ayahuasca is bad or anything, but what I now from my experience, you're still kind of like in this la la land when you leave, because you've seen a lot. You've just done years and years of like therapy, and you seem like you're feeling like, I felt like a fairy, honestly. And so you need to like adjust back into the world, like integrate yourself back in very slowly. And I came home to like, my family, and like a lot of stuff was going on. So it was very chaotic, like just heaviness. And it, I think, contributed to my attempt.
But you said that it was an amazing experience. So why 2 weeks later did you?
Because I went into a bunch of chaos. So it was too intense for me. Like the chaos, like I was still in my fairy bubble. Like, oh, I want to be free. Like I just love life. And so I wasn't back in reality yet. And so it was all too much. Like if you do ayahuasca, if you're listening to this, then I would make sure you can take a mini vacation after for a little bit.
When you did it, did you do it just you? Was it one-on-one, or was there a group of people?
It was one-on-one. Okay. I did not want to do group because I am an empath. So I knew that no matter like the amount of root I would drink, that if I heard people like needing help, that I would have tried to get up and help them.
Were you, because I mean, I've never done ayahuasca, but from what I've heard, people are like, they're throwing up. Aren't they like screaming or something?
I mean, some people's can be like really intense. I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast, and I was he was talking to this one guy, and he said that he did a group, and the one girl, like, because you have to tell them, like, if you're bipolar or if you like are schizophrenic, you have to tell them any kind of stuff like that, so they're aware that for other people's safety. And he said that this woman was going insane, that they had to go out and like tie her up until she had like gotten through it all. And then later she came back in, she was like, that was the best thing that I ever did in my life.
Just released all the demons.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. So no, I'd purged, just only once, both days at the end. Like she was like, okay, you're done. And I was like, no, there's more. I know there's more. Like, don't leave me yet. Like, tell me more. And she was like, I said, you're done. And I just lean up and purge, and that was it.
Who's she?
Aya.
Okay. What are you seeing? Like, what is that experience like? Like, what?
I mean, it's so beautiful.
It's hallucinations, obviously.
Yeah.
Are you or are you watching you?
You're watching everything. She's
from where?
Showing you. Like, I'm basically like I'm there, like from my eyes.
So you're seeing
like observing
this Aya
everything.
person.
No,
and
so I never saw her. You just hear her voice. She talks
okay.
to you, and you're listening to music the whole time. And so your shaman has like a playlist that like takes you and like helps guide you through. And they've like really curated this with love.
Are they talking? Is there someone talking in the playlist?
No, it's just there's like, you know, songs. Like there's some that I have still saved. I love them. I listen to them when I do my ketamine therapy. So yeah, it just like takes you through, like it's, you know, it takes you up and it takes you down and makes you feel safe.
What is it that's causing, like, is it healing you? Like, are you letting go of the trauma? How does it work?
Yeah. I mean, you're just going into the darkest parts of yourself, and some people don't experience anything, like, because you're so blocked off. Like you've shut down and like harbored everything that you have to do it a few times to like break through. And some people are absolutely terrified to go do it. And I was so excited. And
I'm terrified.
Yeah. My shaman was like, this is a first. I was like, I'm so excited. And he was like, this is a first. I've never, and I was like, no, because like what, like I know it's safe. I'm not going to die. And like, I'm just open to whatever I'm supposed to see or experience. I've already been through the worst things in my life. They can't hurt me any more than they already have. Like, then I'm hurting myself. So if this may help me get out of my own hell, then like, I'm willing to do it. Like, sign me up. You know, I was like, just lay there. I was like, yay.
I want to talk about your miscarriages a little bit.
Yeah.
How does a miscarriage affect you mentally? What are the feelings you go through?
I mean, a lot of heartbreak, and it's a very lonely, silent heartbreak because, you know, the people around you feel like sorry for you, but they also feel like, oh, I probably shouldn't bring it up because why would I bring up the elephant in the room? And so therefore they're not checking on you. And you're like, oh, I want you to check on me, but also I don't want to talk about it. And a lot of failure. I think it's very lonely, and your partner can't understand it. So they're going on with like about like their regular day to day. And it's not because they don't care about you, but they just aren't, they're like, oh, we'll try again. And I'm like, what? You don't understand, like the hormones that are already rushing through me. Like my longest pregnancy that I had for one of my miscarriages I was 4 months pregnant. So that one was really, really heavy. And that was really traumatic. I had went into the hospital. The doctor was like, hey, you know, the baby's heartbeat is no more. But it's already too far, like you're 4 months, so we're gonna have to do a DNC.
What's that?
A DNC is where they like go in and like you go under and they go in and they get everything out of your uterus.
Surgically, or do they like dilate you or something?
So he was like, hey, I'm gonna write you a prescription, go to the hospital with this, and take this, and I'll meet you in 1 hour, and then we're gonna have the DNC. And I was like, okay. So I took it, and then it was like 3 hours later, my doctor still wasn't there. And I'm like starting to like fully go into labor.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, like get me to the bathroom. Something's wrong. And I like get to like, I'm walking to the bathroom and I'm just like everything just like drops. And I just have like the miscarriage right there. And
It's
like in my gown.
Gave birth,
yeah,
essentially?
Basically.
Wow.
And I turned white and I passed out. And I just remember coming to, and they were rushing me to the OR with like an oxygen mask on me. So that was
Why
really,
was no one
really
there?
traumatic. My doctor, his excuse was, most of the time when I tell people that they're not on time. And I was like, what? Like, you just gave me this like really intense medicine.
Yeah.
And you were basing on that I was maybe not going to be there on time. Like, it was crazy.
Did you file like a claim, like
no,
a lawsuit?
Honestly, I probably could have, but it's just at that point, you're not thinking about something like that. I was just so devastated. It was extremely traumatic, and no one understood what I was going through.
Was anyone with you when you
my ex at the time.
birth, essentially? Like,
Yeah,
what was
my
that?
ex at the time.
And we don't have to talk about it if it's too traumatic.
Yeah, no, it's okay now. Before, it was really traumatic. But that's the funeral that ayahuasca had for me, and my journey was for that. And so it was really healing. And then obviously having my children now is so beautiful.
What do you wish people would understand about having a miscarriage? Because you talk about, oh, we'll just try again as the guy.
Yeah.
We don't know what it's like to be pregnant. We don't know what those feelings are like. What do you wish people would understand about miscarriages?
I think that it is so heartbreaking that, maybe you didn't think it was that big of a deal, that, maybe she was only pregnant for a month and she got her period. It's like, that's still really heartbreaking for a female, because I mean, imagine like as a man, like you guys have your failures, or like the things that you would feel that are a failure, like, oh, you can't protect your family, or just like all kinds of things. I don't know what men think, actually, so I'm not going to try to pretend like I do. But as females, I'm like, wow, like that's what we are. And maybe I'm going to offend some people in this, because you don't have to have babies, but that is what we are made to do, is to continue to create other human beings. And so it's a lot of failure. And I just wish that more friends and partners would just check on you more, and I know that sometimes people don't want to be checked on. So that's also, I met some people who are like, oh yeah, I had a miscarriage, no big deal, don't care. Like, I'm like, are you sure you don't? And they're nope, not phased at all. But others, I do know that like have really struggled with it. And especially like the women who are like now doing IVF, and like they've really gone through it. You have to have 3 miscarriages before you can do IVF. Isn't that crazy?
Really?
Yeah. So even if you're like, hey, I'm willing to pay whatever, you're like, nope, you have to go through 3 losses first. And I don't know why. I don't know the medical history or reasoning why that. So let me not put my foot in my mouth there either. But yeah, it's just to check on you, and especially the men, because I think that causes like a big rift in relationships, because the guy just goes on about their day and probably doesn't even think, not all, but like there are a lot of men who are like, oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. And like, I'm working, like, and it's like, so it doesn't matter. Like, I'm still like need you.
Did you have miscarriages prior to your firstborn, or were these after your firstborn?
No, I had a miscarriage with my ex before Mila, so before my firstborn.
What causes a miscarriage, and is it common to have multiple?
Yeah, it's common to have multiple. Yeah, all kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, and also you can just like your body doesn't take it. Just same as like if you go and get like a transplant, sometimes your body doesn't take it.
Yeah,
because it's a foreign thing in your body, and so sometimes your body attacks it. It's like, get out of me. So yeah.
Going back to that night that you drank the wine and called your friend.
Oh, yeah.
The voices in your head, the things you were telling yourself, how did you let the negativity tell you that your child would be better off without you as opposed to with you? Because for me, thinking, I have a child, I have a reason to live. I need to be there for this child. What made you think that your child would be better off without you?
Because I was like, this, if I am the one creating so much chaos in my life, I'm fucking miserable, that I'm sitting here writing a note. Like, is this the upbringing I'm giving my child? Like, is this going to be her life? And I thought, maybe if she's just without me, then like the chaos goes away and she'll have this beautiful, happy life. And I'll just be like a memory, like a nice little photo that's, in the foyer. Like, there's mom, loved her. She was just really sick.
Mm-hmm.
But the chaos would be gone and her life would just be rainbows and butterflies. And it's not the case.
Right.
It's not the case at all. My older sister, her mom, so basically all my siblings, for the most part, we have different moms. And my older sister, her mom took her life when she was 6 years old. And it really did destroy her. But it also, because my dad wasn't the best, like, father to her as well. So she really fought with that. So I know that it wouldn't have been good for her now either. But I was just in such a dark, negative place. And when you get to that low of a place, you are just thinking like, okay, I'm like, it's me and everything would be better without me. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, other people who have like felt this, they'll know exactly what I mean. But you just, you like just bask in like your sorrow and victimhood and this.
What has helped you the most in your journey of therapy? Is it talking? Is it the ayahuasca? Is it the ketamine therapy?
The ketamine therapy really helped me. Also opening up to my friends. I shared on my Instagram what happened on the anniversary this year. That had been 1 year. But so not everyone knew, but like a few of my friends did know, and like people drove to me, they flew to me. And that was one really helpful to open up to my friends in a way that I never had before. So I think having that community, but also not ayahuasca, ketamine therapy. So I go and do an IV, and I did it for twice a week for a month straight. And it was absolutely life-changing. So you go in there, and a doctor like administers it to you. And then a nurse watches you, and you're just basically in this whole other universe for an hour. And I was hesitant at first because I was like, I don't want to just keep numbing out.
Right.
I'm not trying to keep escaping and like jumping into like a video game or something to avoid my problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to some people and they're like, no, I'm telling you, like it's years and years of therapy in one. And so I really could feel such a difference to where I would sit and like days after or even weeks after or now, I look back at certain things I went through, like being molested as a child. I used to not be able to talk about that. I would choke up, or like memories that have like sat with me with my parents. And now I can talk about them. And I'm open to talk about them because I want people to know like there's another way, instead of harboring it. Because I used to be like, oh, I'm so strong because I've done all this and I'm like, I'm fine. I don't need any therapy. No one needs to know. I've got this. Like, it's made me stronger.
Mm-hmm.
No. That's not the case. It made me weaker to hold on to it all. It took my soul. And to where like I wasn't myself anymore. I dropped down to 103 pounds.
Wow.
Right before I took my life. which is not healthy. I'm a little over 5'8", so that's wild. And
were you just not eating? Were you anorexic?
That's the crazy thing. I was eating. I eat like a 12-year-old boy.
Okay.
Bagel bites, pizza, burgers, all the things.
Yeah, I used to see you do those like boils or what? The
yes,
shrimp
the crawfish boil. I
love.
Listen, that's my last dying meal is crawfish. I go to Hot and Juicy religiously.
I've never done that.
Oh, it's so good. We'll go sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was eating all the time, but it was killing me inside that I could eat all day long. And I was so stressed out inside that my body was eating itself. I was living in fight or flight, like I told you. And I was dying. Like, had I not tried to take my life and I just continued on without like getting any help, I really do think like, I don't know if I would have just had like a full psychotic break or what, but like, I mean, I was dying. Or like organ failure. I don't really know. It was scary. And so, yeah, with ketamine therapy, it just has taken all of that away, like all of the stress and anxiety and anger and hate or depression away from those moments that were in my life. And now I'm not like, oh, I'm anxious or this and that. I just think like, okay, that was a moment that happened and I'm going to get through it and I'm alive. I'm fine. Like, it can't touch me anymore. Like, I'm past that. The only person still hurting me now is myself. And so it helped me like have more accountability. And so, yeah, that I love ketamine therapy for anyone who, thinks that would benefit them if they've like gone through, any kind of stuff in their life. Or even, I mean, some people do it just from like natural stress that they have to try to like figure stuff out. I went to Hoffman. Have you heard of Hoffman before? So it's pretty life-changing. I went when I was 6 months pregnant with my second child this past July. And it's up near Napa Valley in Petaluma, California. And it's this 5-day retreat with no phone, no contact to the outside world. And you are basically like this therapy camp. It's 12 hours of intense therapy a day. And you're in this room with 39 other people who are also wanting change. And I'm not going to say too much about it. And people joke and they're like, oh, it's a cult because no one talks about it. No, it's just because if I were to tell you the things that you're going to go do, you may not go do it because you're like, what the fuck? That's crazy. But then like the last day, they're like, would any of you have come, raise your hand, would you have skipped it if you knew all the things we were going to do? And like half the room raised their hand. And then.
So it wasn't good then?
No. They said, but now, no, like before, had you known before, but now that you're done and we're on our last day, how many of you would stay if we were like, actually, we're staying for 2 more weeks, and everyone raised their hand. Like, I didn't want to leave. I was like, can I just bring my kids here or my daughter here? And so, yeah, I went there because I was like, I breastfeed. So I was like, I'm not going to be able to go and do this again until I'm done breastfeeding my son. And that could be like a year and a half. So I want to do this. I had already been on the wait list. It's like a 6 months to sometimes a year wait list. And they do no advertisement. And like a lot of people, Justin Bieber went before, and I only say this because he's talked about it. He went before and he was not ready because he didn't know. A lot of people suggest people to go, not really knowing what it is. And he was like, I'm not ready for this yet. And he left early. And some people do leave early. They're like, I'm not ready. I didn't realize this is what it was. And then he actually ended up coming back and he finished it. Not at the same time, but a different week. So a lot of people have done it. It's like very, very much in the LA world, but also everywhere too. They have one in London as well.
Is it similar? Is it like, are you doing drugs?
No. It's just intense therapy. So you start with your childhood. And I wanted to go because I was like, I have to like figure my shit out. I cannot keep projecting this on my children. Or like, I just want to be a better mom. I want to be a better person, a better friend, a better partner, whatever. And so I went and Sorry, I'm saying and a lot because I'm trying to not ramble or
what? No, you're fine. It's better than
Okay. Oh God, now I'm gonna start saying.
No, you're fine.
No. And yeah. So you go in there and you're assigned to a teacher, and most of the time we are in the classroom with everyone. And you're doing this intense work starting from your childhood. You have this whole not pamphlet, it's a binder. It's massive. It's like this thick. And you go through your parents and like how your parents affected your whole life, like how they shaped you. And then you also realize, wait, my parents were just kids living their own experience and their own past traumas or whatever they went through, and they were just raising me, and like they didn't know. So then you go in there with like forgiveness for your parents, even if you didn't have any hate for your parents, like you had to like dish it out and act like you had hate, just to like make sure you could get rid of anything and understand that like they are their own person, and at the end of the day, like we're in charge of our happiness and we're in control of everything. So like if that affects me, like that has to do with me, not you. Like, yeah, you could come up to me and be like, fuck you, bitch. And that would definitely be about you, but it would have nothing to do with me unless I took it personal.
Right.
And why would it take me? Like, why would I be affected by that? You know what I mean? Like, was I a bitch to you? No, like, okay, cool. Good luck, buddy. But like some people are like triggered by it from something else. So, and they teach you stuff like that. Like you had to like sit there and, like you had to write and say, on this piece of paper, anyone that like offended you while you were there. And then now you're going to go confront them. Oh, wow. But you could only take 3 at a time. And I don't know why. Well, actually I do know why, because I am very much like, woo, like I just say whatever. I have no filter. And so I was like, oh, I bet I offended a lot of people while I was here. I'm sure. Like, there's no way I didn't. And sure enough, I've got like 6 people who are ready to talk to me. And I'm like, fuck. And they're like, no, you can only have 3. That's too much, Jordan. Like, you don't need to, because they like, they're protecting you as well, because it could be heavy. And one person, they said to me, they're sitting, and it's to show you, like, you cannot respond or anything. You just have to take it. And see like that really it has nothing to do with you, but it has everything to do with them. So one woman was like, I got really angry when I saw you.
Just saw you? Like,
yeah. And I was like, and she goes, here you are like pregnant and you seem so happy. And everyone thought I was like 18 or 20. They didn't realize, oh, this is a 31-year-old woman. And so she said, I was so angry, you're so happy. And I was like, wow, I bet she's so ungrateful. She doesn't even realize how lucky she is. And she was like, I've been struggling to get pregnant. And I was so angry that I was like, wow, you don't even appreciate what you have. But little did she know, I've already had so many miscarriages. And, I was very fortunate and grateful for my pregnancy. And she told me, she goes, and I realize now that it had nothing to do with you, and you're such a sweet person and you are grateful for, your pregnancy. She was like, but that was for me. But you see how like most of the time it has nothing to do with us. Right. I mean, it really doesn't. And then one person's was, they saw me on a golf cart, because I got a golf cart ride up the hill to lunch. And he didn't realize that he said, oh, I didn't realize you were pregnant. He goes, it was the first day. And I thought, oh, look at her. She must like be someone, famous or whatever, like getting like privilege. And he was like, but then I realized like, oh, you're pregnant. And that's what it was. And so later on I told him, I said, it's funny you say that, because actually every day I walked until the 4th day, and I was starting to like have some pain from walking all around the property. And so I said, you actually did know I was pregnant then. I said, but it had nothing to do with me. That's just a thought you had. And so it's interesting. Very, very interesting. It just puts a lot of things into perspective. But I loved it. It really was life-changing.
What is it like to have someone confront you with their perception of you and be forced to do it?
It was nice.
Who did you confront and what did you say?
Actually, you know what? They were, because I was like, I don't have any.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, you have to like kind of just like pull anything out then. And so like you had a buddy every morning who checked on you to like make sure everyone's in class. You'd like look for your buddy just to make sure like so everyone's accounted for. And so this one time I was in there and my buddy, I saw she didn't look for me. And I was like, oh, she must not care about me. But really, I probably just didn't notice that she already saw me.
Yeah.
You know? And so, but I just had to go and like, that was the only thing I could think of to tell someone. But I remember after they wouldn't let me do the last 3, I was like, oh, well, I don't want these people to not be able to get this off their chest. So after break or after our class during our break, I like went up to people and I was like, you can tell me yours if you like need to. I want you to be able to like release this. And they like told me, and it was all things that literally had nothing to do with me. So it was really nice.
So you didn't like get offended or anything?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But
some people might though, because you have a good perspective on that. You're like, yeah, this has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Well, because once you hear people's things and you're like, what? And it just shows you how easy you can get in your head. Like, take nothing personally, because most of the time everyone is so self-absorbed in like their head and like what's going on with, you know, them or their problems or their past, you know, traumas coming up, whatever. It has nothing to do with you. Yeah. Nothing.
I had a guy on the podcast. He jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and he survived. And he said that the second his hands left the rail, it was instant regret. As you look back on that night, do you regret it?
I do.
And what were the feelings of that?
You know, it's interesting because I didn't have instant regret when I did it. I actually, when I tried to, or when they were taking me off the stretcher, and I didn't remember saying this, but I had grabbed my friend she lived down the street, and I had heard to come over. And she said that I grabbed her, and I said, as soon as I get out, I'm going to try it again, or something along those lines. And I was like, whoa. And I just, you know, because most people do, they say like, oh, you regret, like you see like when like people are like go to hang themselves or something, they're like like some people have like claw marks on their neck when they're found. And I didn't. That's how dark it got in my head. But then whenever I woke up in the hospital, then I realized, I was like, whoa. And I don't know if it was, I believe everything happens for a reason, you know, like it's already written. So while I don't want people to wake up in a hospital room and almost feel forgotten about or uncared for, maybe it helped a little, because it did make me realize like, no one's here to save me. Like, I have to do the work. I have to. And like, there's so much to live for. And I get like, it looks like I have this awesome life. And you know, if you go on my Instagram, I live my best life, you know, as all of us, you know, mostly do. And I try to sprinkle in, you know, some realness there. But you know, people don't know. They see me at like posting with some girlfriends or something, but then there's been times where I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know if I'm gonna have like money for groceries this week or whatever. And like, everything's always been fine and it always works itself out, but you don't ever know. So I don't know how I got to that point of, what was the question? Oh, the regret thing.
Yeah, the regret.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, now.
What made you write that list of the pros and cons? What made you, like, what gave you that awakening of like, fuck, dude, I really got to change. Like, no one's going to do it for me.
I don't know what it was, really. I don't know. I just knew, if I went into, I think one, I was like, okay, I've got to come up with a plan, because at the end of the 72 hours, they're going to come in here and they're going to drag me off to some psych ward for 2 weeks. And it's going to be fucking shitty. They're going to try to push meds down my throat. And more than likely, it's going to make me want to kill myself when I come out. So I was like, how do I avoid this? Like, come up with a plan and do it. And so I was like, okay, how do I change my life when I get out of here? And so I just started writing pros and cons. And I mean, I was just like, I've got to take accountability for myself.
I'm curious to ask, what was the cons of you not wanting to be here? Like, was your pros and cons pros for living or pros for dying?
No. The pros and cons were like what I needed to do to like change my life to make sure I didn't end up either back in this hospital or dead. And my cons were my relationship was not healthy anymore. And I don't remember. I didn't have that many cons, which was crazy. I had a lot of pros. I was like, damn, like this is just, and I put like therapy, like I need to get on therapy. My cons were that I wasn't in therapy. Yeah. I needed to get into therapy. And so, I really didn't have a lot of cons. It was really simple.
How do you prevent yourself from going back down that path? And also, how do you work towards not having to rely on drugs and ketamine therapy and ayahuasca? Because
gratitude. I'm really big on gratitude. Actually, for the anniversary of that date, this past year, I got emotional. I was going through a lot. My ex and I had split, and I was pregnant. And I was just having a day, and I was like, wow, this is not where I planned my life to be when I wrote those pros and cons. How am I back in this situation again? What did I do? Not victim, like what did I do to deserve this? What did I do to put myself here? Like not playing victim. Like I am here because of me. And I just got so emotional, and I got on my close friends. And it wasn't like, because I would have put it on like my mainstream if I was like wanting attention. It was just that I was like, you know what? I don't like to burden people. So I was like, I don't want to reach out to my friends and then feel like, oh God, like we've got something going on, but now we've got to go take care of Jordan. So like, I'm going to put it on my close friends. And if anyone wants to like step up and like talk to me, well, because I need someone to talk to right now, or they can choose to ignore it if they've got something going on. So it was kind of like, so I just started crying on my close friends, and I was like, is this like the anniversary? And this is just not where I planned my life to be. And I was like, I'm just so heartbroken right now. I'm scared. Like it's a lot being a single mom too. Like it's hard. I love it. I have like an incredible support system of friends all around me. But it's fucking hard because you are expected to, whether, you're able to stay at home and be a single mom or work, like either way, like you are on 24/7. There's no one to be like, hey, can I get a break? Like it's you, and it's exhausting. I love my kids. They're so chill. So I cannot imagine if they weren't chill. Like it's nuts. But yeah, so I put on there, I was like, this is hard. And I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to hurt myself. It was just, I said, I just am exhausted. I'm so exhausted. And I was like, I'm okay. I'm good. I just check on people because sometimes life is really exhausting. And I had people, so I had 2 people send me cakes right then. One from Hoffman, a girl I just met that week, and we'd never hung out again since. And she sent me a cake that said, I see you and I love you. within 30 minutes of me posting this video on my close friends, sent a cake to my front door. Another friend sent a cake, said, "You're so loved." Another friend sent me like 150 roses. Like, it was so beautiful. People were like texting me nonstop. "I love you. I love you. Like, we're here for you. You've got this. You are so strong." And it was just really, really beautiful. And I don't even know how I got on this part either. What happened? Where was I going with this?
How does that feel to have such a supportive system?
Really, really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really. And I have such a great support system too, I think, because I'm so authentic with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hold anything back. I'm very honest and open with them about like how I'm feeling and how much I love them, and just, I don't know, I've just gotten so lucky with my friend group. I really have. But no, it feels really good. It feels good. And I know it's hard because some people are really shitty in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one of my best friends, she lives in a really small town. And that's something she really struggles with, is finding good people around her. And she's like, I'd rather just like hang out with my kids and my family than keep like getting screwed over by these shitty people in my town. And sometimes it makes me sad because I'm like, gosh, I wish I could like bring her here, like bring these friends to her. So I know it's not as easy as like, I've been very fortunate. I don't know how you get so lucky to have her, especially in LA.
Right.
Like how crazy that I have incredible friends. Mm-hmm. Like my best friend, actually, yeah, two of my, well, there's three of them, but they, when I was pregnant during COVID, they let me move in with them because I had just moved out. How I was telling you, during COVID, I was scared and I was a single mom, or I was going to be a single mom. And I didn't want to have the baby here in LA because they weren't going to let anyone in the room. So I went to Georgia to have the baby. I ended my lease early. Well, Georgia was like, "You just came from California. It's a hot state. You've got, like, we're not going to see you here." So then I came back to LA, and my friends were like, "You're going to," actually, not a lot of people know this, but I did not want to ask people for help. And I was really embarrassed. I didn't want to be like a burden or come off as like a couch surfer or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I started sleeping in my car.
Wow.
And I would wait until people would go into their parking garages in like safe areas in LA where they lived, and I would pull behind them and I would park in like their guest spots in garages and sleep in the garage. And then I would go like shower at the gym or like a friend's house or something and just be like, "Oh, can I grab a shower?" And it was only for 2 weeks, but not a lot of, I think only one person maybe knows that.
Why didn't you want to ask for help?
Because I just didn't want to be a burden.
You could ask me. I had extra room.
I know, but I'm just like, it's like, here, this like pregnant girl during COVID, like, hey, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, fuck, like I put myself in this situation. Like, I've got to get myself out. It's not anyone's responsibility to be like taking care of me. And my friends didn't know that I was sleeping in my car, but they were like, "Wait, you don't have a place?" Like, "No, you're coming to live with us." And I was like, "What?" And we had just started like our friendship really a few months prior. And I don't know, I can say their name, their shout out, little Harleen and Carmela. Yeah. Sweet Nicole too. Just, Nicole wasn't always there because she had an autoimmune disease. And so she couldn't always be there, but she was like, "You stay in my room." And then whenever if she would come home, then, Carmela would either be out of town, I would go in her room, or Harleen would be like, "Take my bed, I'll sleep on the couch." And I was like, no, I can sleep on the couch. And they were like, "No, you're pregnant. You're not sleeping on the couch." And so they would like make me food, and they would always make sure they just took care of me. And it was really, really beautiful. I've been very fortunate.
In that moment, what was your relationship like with your mom? Why couldn't you stay with them?
Well, because they were in Georgia And so I needed to like keep seeing a doctor.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have like the best relationship with my mom anymore, but yeah. Yeah. My mom is going through it right now with her mom just passed away. And so I didn't realize that when have bipolar disorder, it can send you into like a manic psychosis moment. And so when her mom passed away, it did. And so we're not really talking right now. She's been really sick mentally. So it's just been a lot. Yeah. She was my best friend, but I still love her.
How does that feel? How does that affect you?
It's hard. It's really hard. Especially just having like my other child. And she's like a great Nana. My kids love her. So that's been hard. But I have like the greatest therapist in the world. I think so. And he's amazing. He actually went to Hoffman himself 17 years ago.
Wow.
I didn't know until I was like in a few sessions with him, and he's in the UK, and we Zoom. And someone recommended him to me. And I was like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, I'm going to be gone for a week, so I'm going to this place called Hoffman, and actually, would you sign a release form saying like, you think I'm like okay to go? And he was like, Hoffman? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I went there 17 years ago myself. I was like, wow. So yeah, I love my therapist. He's really great. But yeah, I think and I know some people are so against therapy, and I really was, but I think like if you have a good support system around yourself, and you're also like have extreme gratitude for life, like even just so simple as I don't get bothered in traffic at all. Like I could sit in traffic for 2 hours. Like, does it suck? Yeah. But what I do when I'm in traffic is I go, wow, I'm so thankful that I have this AC right now. Could you imagine what if I don't have AC and I'm sitting here in this parking lot for 2 hours and the sun's beating out, I'd be sweating. Like my kids could be out. Like my kids have AC. So I just think of like little things like that to turn stuff around. I think really, really helps. But yeah, therapy, if you can find a good therapist. And, I know ketamine therapy is not an option for everyone because it is expensive. And yeah, and also getting outside every day. Yeah. That's a big one, which I didn't realize. Yeah, like for the first time in my life, I've enjoyed being alone. I've never in my life have I enjoyed being alone. I've always wanted to at least be with a friend, something like whatever. I did not want to be alone. And now that, I'm like mentally and emotionally ready to like date again. And it's been, opportunities have been presented to me. I don't want to.
Wow. I was actually just going to start asking about that. I was going to say, how do you quit the cycle of always needing to be a man or finding, you describe a lot of toxicity and you're attracted to that. Yeah. And also what are things that you need to work on as well? Because clearly you're not picking the right partner. Yep. Clearly you have some things going on too that you need to work on. Yeah. So what steps are you taking to not be attracted to that type of person and also work on your end of it?
I sat in it. Instead of like trying to escape it. I sat at home. And when I say I sat at home, I don't mean like I laid in bed and vegged out on TV. Like I did meditation, I did journaling, and journaling's really not for me. But I sat with my emotions instead of being like, oh, I'm going to go drink or I'm going to go to a friend's house to avoid this. I would sit and cry and it just like just scream. And it felt so good once I got through it. Like whenever you wake up really early and you're like, fuck, I don't want to go to the gym right now. Like, I don't want to do this. And then you go to the gym and when you leave, you're like, man, I'm so glad I went. It's like that. Yeah. So I sat in it and also love bombing.
You love bomb?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's like a thing where if a guy love bombs now, I'm like,
yeah.
Goodbye. We can be friends, but hell to the no. I don't want you to love bomb me. I mean, I want to see effort, but I don't want to be love bombed.
Yeah.
and I try not to go for, I have no type either. So I don't really care if you're like, oh, I've got a plane, I've got a Ferrari or whatever, or you're like a 10. Don't care. If your personality sucks, you're like out. I don't care. Even if we're talking Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
If your personality sucks, no thank you. You're not attractive to me anymore. So yeah, no, I just love bombing is one I avoid now. And also I used to always text back immediately to people, girls or guys.
Yeah.
And I'm the worst with my phone now because I'm like, no, like I don't need to be that reachable. Like I need to live my life. I need to be present and I'll get back to you when I get back to you.
Yeah.
So sometimes like I look at my text at nighttime once I put my kids to bed and someone's, texts me at 7 or something. And I'll browse through them really quickly, make sure it's nothing like super urgent. But if it's just a conversation, I'll come back to it whenever I'm done with my day. So that's been really nice. But I just, I don't know. I'm, again, taking more accountability for myself, enjoying being alone. And also I kind of have, obviously it's not the only thing a lot of women want from a man, but is children. Well, now I have 2 kids and I know I can do it by myself. And I'm not being like, oh, I don't need a man, and I don't need one, but would I love to have like a partner and stuff? For sure. But when that time comes, I don't need anyone right now. I want it to be my person. I want it to be natural. I want them to be an incredible father, and which my kids do have an incredible father. So just so no one thinks that. But I'm taking a lot of accountability. I think me sitting there and taking accountability for myself shows me like what I do and don't want in a man, because also I don't want to be triggered and bring old chaos into that relationship again. You know what I mean?
Is dating difficult because you do have 2 kids with 2 different men?
No.
Yeah.
And so Mila's biological dad, he's not involved. And he's like, he just didn't want to be a dad, and is what it is. But no, it's not, because it's crazy enough. Like my dating life, not that I'm going on dates right now, but I do have people ask me on dates a lot who know I do.
Must be nice. No one's out here asking me on dates.
And yeah, I love my peace now. That I'm like, you really have to put forth effort to make me feel like you can add to my peace.
It's interesting. We're very complete opposite. I've only been in 2 relationships and I'm 30 years old and I love being alone. So like if I get into a relationship, like you gotta really impress me.
Yeah.
And not take away from my peace.
Yeah, well, that's where I am now.
Yeah.
It just took me a long time. And
but
2 kids later.
It's interesting too, because our lives couldn't be more polar opposite.
Yeah.
And I empathize with everything that you've been through. But I have, had amazing parents, amazing family, really good role models, raised, Catholic in the church. And, but for some reason, when I get into dating, I'm attracted to the complete opposite. Like I want to help people and I want to fix people. But in your terms of dating, it seems like you're attracted to what you experienced.
Yeah, well, but no, not only that, because I didn't realize, you know what I mean? But like, it's definitely that I've stayed in unhealthy relationships before being like, I can fix them. And like, I always see the good in everyone.
Same, yeah.
And so I was just like, I can fix this person. I can fix this person. And really, it's not my responsibility. And it's also not their responsibility to fix me or my baggage that I come with. Can we work on it together and be part in like whatever like we're faced with, like let's work together. But it's not their responsibility to take care of me, nor is it my responsibility to take care of them. And so many, like in that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I love to like, let me fix your life. But I guess from a male's perspective, it's a little different.
When you are struggling with so much on your own end, how are you so empathetic and caring for the other person when sometimes it seems like you don't care for yourself as much?
Because I know the pain that I've felt inside, I just never want anyone to feel. Mm-hmm. So I would rather, and this is not how I feel. Mm-hmm. But before, I would rather like be someone's punching bag, not like physically, like emotionally.
Yeah.
So they could like work through their stuff, and I could be their friends. Like, what? Like, why would I do that? Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't really make sense, because there's a lot of people out there who are like, no, I just thought I was helping them through it. And like, I know, like, you forget all the bad when there's like little bits of good. Mm-hmm. And it just, yeah.
How do you give your children a better life than what you had? Because you talked about the babysitter boy. He was going through that, so that's what he did.
Well,
how do you prevent?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like there's only so many things you can do.
Yeah.
And I think one thing, like, my mom always lived in fear. My mom was had some stuff happen to her when she was in high school or something, and just her past relationships and stuff. Like, she always wanted to protect us, so sometimes she overprotected, and that was her way of protecting me. But it also harmed me. She didn't realize that. And so I don't want to be this overbearing parent and give my kids anxiety for nothing that's even stepped into their life yet.
Yeah.
I mean, so I just try to make them more aware, and they actually say you shouldn't have nicknames for your private parts, like for your kids. Cause like some people are like, oh, you're, cover your whatever, cover yourself, like cover your hoo-ha or something like that. Like, I tell my daughter, I'm like, she knows like all about the human body. She watched like so many home births because I was explaining to her like that mommy was going to have a baby. And even if she didn't like him, he's here for good. Like, it's not just a baby doll. So I really wanted her to understand. And so I showed her at home birth, and she's probably seen like 60 home births now because she's so obsessed with it. Like, the more graphic, the better. She was like, where's the blood? There's no blood in this one. Like, she just loves it. And so I tell her, I'm like, that's your vagina. And this is, these are your boobs. And once she got old enough to wash herself, I said, okay, now you have to wash yourself, and no one else washes you. No one else touches you down here. And if someone ever does, you tell me. And you won't be in trouble or anything, but you always tell mommy if you need to talk to me. But this is yours, and no one touches it except you. Not even mommy. I don't help you wash yourself anymore. So like little things like that. They say like if you use like a nickname for it, it like turns it into kind of, it can be like a playful thing. And so then that's how predators can kind of work around that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus being like, no, this is mine.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on and opening up. I got pretty emotional there, and I'm thankful that you shared your story. And I think a lot of people are going to be able to empathize with you and also relate. But it takes a lot of courage to do what you did. And I'm super grateful for having you on. And you are loved, and you are an amazing mom.
Thank you.
And you're a really good friend. So thank you for being on.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.